Guys, it's Vanity Ezel, back again with another Ezel in the Vanity Card Fight Vanguard weekly reveals. So hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to the Patreon. And let's get this one started. Today, we got a new ride line for Lyrical Monasterio. I completely forgot the name of the ride line though, but it is a really interesting ride line. And we got some cards released for Shaman King. So let's go ahead and get our reveals on, and then we'll get to the important stuff when we get there. First up, we have Majestic Mikazuki Munechika, 9k base, grade 2 intercept, 5k shield from Monster Strike, as is the usual for these days. Act rear, if you have another unit in the same column as it, discard a card until end of turn. When this unit attacks, it attacks all your opponent's front row units in one go. So, another Vermilion. Why is Monster Strike getting so many cards that either just retire, which is fine if their whole entire thing is retire, but at the same time, they also just get Vermilions. Like, I can recall a few other cards that do the same exact thing, which is the scary part, because those are instant nuke cards. And all you have to do for this one is discard a card, so kind of interesting. And then its other skill is auto rear. During your turn, when your opponent's rear guard is retired, choose one of your vanguards, and it gets +5 until end of turn. That is kind of scary, because since it can attack the whole front row at once, that guarantees that if they take the rear guards and they have 2 rear guards, that's just a +10 to something, which is not the best thing to be fighting against, but it's a pretty good card. The 9k base is what I think makes it worse, but if it was a 10k base, I feel like that'd be a bit too good. So this thing's really good. I say like a 3 of. Next up, Chef of Life and Soul Nacho, 8k base, grade 1 intercept, 5k shield. Interesting art, but I don't like this card, so unfortunately such a beautiful art is wasted on it. Auto rear, when it boosts, if your opponent has 3 or more rear guards, it gets +5k power to end of battle. So a 13k booster that kind of relies on the opponent's rear guards, while if you're playing against another Monster Strike deck, probably going to happen. Token Rambo, probably so as well, but like other decks, sometimes they don't have 3 or more rear guards. You don't really need 3 or more rear guards half the time when you're playing, or at least from my experience, and you can easily win without them. So Nacho, as much as I like your art, you are not a card that I see purpose in. I mean, he's an okay card for like a 2 of, but nothing more like a staple or something. Next up, we have Guardian of the Sealed Grounds Cocytus, 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. Auto rear, when it attacks, Soul Blast 2, choose one of your opponent's rear guards until end of the turn. It cannot intercept, then during their next standby phase, it cannot stand. So this is just Mega Colony Incarnate. This is Mega Colony's new card. It doesn't go into Stoicheia. It goes here. This is Mega Colony right here. An interesting card. Not something I see a lot of use in. I mean, I might be wrong on that. I'm not a Monster Strike player, but if I use Monster Strike, this is probably going to be one of the cards I use. And now into some Lyrical Monasterio stuff before we go back to Monster Strike. Chewing Daughter Shia. 3k base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost. 3k is kind of alarming when it's booster, but its skill is auto when placed on rear. Soul Blast 1, look at top card. You may call it to an open rear guard or add it to hand. If you add it, discard a card. So, as with most of the stuff from Lyrical Monasterio these days, they're all on places, which is really nice to affect, like, well, this is for the trial deck actually, but for like a Cestus ride line where it's a bunch of bouncing so you can replace their abilities. So that 3k doesn't really matter when you can just get the top 2 and either get a call out of it or just get it to hand anyways. And honestly, you don't really need to get it to hand because your Vanguard is literally at the end of the battle that it attacks. Soul Blast 1 and bounce 2 rear guards. So you don't even have to add it to hand because that just makes you discard where you can just put it on rear then bounce this and that together, which is really nice. That 3k is the only reason why this thing isn't that perfect, but I still like this regardless. This is like a 4 of or 3 of, no less than that. Really nice card. Next up, Slow Kiss Arrow Nonana. I'm pretty sure this is a PR. I'm pretty sure it's a promo. 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. Auto rear, when it attacks, hits a Vanguard, Soul Charge 2. One of the only cards in Lyrical Monasterio so far that aren't a on-hit ability. That aren't an on-place ability, being an on-hit ability. But that's still fine because the deck does need soul charging, so I will take this because it actually does prove some use. Next up, we have Dancing Devils Mononoke Girls. We're just getting a lot of pop stars today. We got the pops. I don't know if we got the pop star grade 1 or unless Fujin Raijin counts as a pop star grade 1. We got the pop star grade 2, maybe? And then we got these things. We got this as the grade 3, and then we also have Dual Pistols joke card over there. Anyways, 13k base, grade 3, Twin Jet Persona Ride, Auto Vanda Rear, when it attacks, Soul Blast 2 until end of battle. All of your opponent's rear guards with intercept must intercept. Okay. I feel like that's the card from like, the last set of Bermudas, though, I feel like they had a card that forced your opponent to intercept. I don't remember at all, but I'm pretty sure that was the case. Either way, that is a very interesting ability to force them to intercept. But I'll take that, because if they have like a bunch of abilities that activate when they intercept from the back row, despite the fact being a Soul Blast 2 cost, not seeing that worth it otherwise, you can't just wipe out a whole field at once. So, pretty interesting. I would not say use this as your vanguard, but use this as like a rear guard. It does have an interesting ability. So I say like a 3 of maybe. Next up, we have Loyal and Supportive romaru, 10k base, 5k shield, grade 3 twin drive. Act Vanna Rear once per turn, counter boss 3. And at the end of turn, this unit gets plus 10 and a crit for the turn. So that's really good. That's a 20k swinger with a double crit. If you Persona Ride with that, that's 30. The only downside about this is it's a counter boss 3. That's my only problem with this. Like I said before, like, my field version of like Counter Blast and Soul Blast is completely fucked up, because for so long me and my friend would only play area because he would never do physical card fights for some reason, and he did have cards, he just never wanted to do them for some reason, and my area was glitched to where I wasn't able to use my soul. So for the longest time I had to use decks that only focused on Counter Blast, and it has come to the point where now I see Counter Blast as the most useful resource of all time, which is why I'm very sparing of what I put into my decks, which is why some of my decks don't have cards that, like, the max Counter Blast I will put into a deck willingly as a Counter Blast 2 and nothing else because of that sole purpose. And if it's a Counter Blast 1, that's better. That's why my mind is like this when I read cards with Counter Blast cost. If it's a Soul Blast cost, I still don't remember, because, once more, Soul Blast useless for me for such a long time. Either way, Romaru, he seems like a good card. I'll give him a 2 of. Next up is Painfulless Ruler Avicii, 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. Act, drop, call it, Counter Blast 1, call it from drop, and it gets plus 5 for the turn. Okay, this is literally anything from Grand Blue. That is what this is. This is a Grand Blue card. But either way, that's still really useful. It's a 15k, and he fits my Counter Blast weird requirement thing, so I will take him. I say a 3 of. Next up, another card for the trial deck of Lyrical Monasterio, a bit of a slump Apple. A question mark, it has a question mark in it, but grade 2, intercept, 5k shield, 8k base. We're getting weird numbers for these grades now, because grade 1, 3k was, granted, it's fine and all, but like, why 3k? Why couldn't they just make it 5 or 6? And then this one, 8k, debatable. Auto when placed on rear, Counter Blast 1, it gets plus 10 for the turn. Yeah, never mind. We are accepting of that, because that's an 18k swing. That is still a 10k drop on any grade 3 without a trigger, which is really nice, especially when you can call stuff during the battle phase. Making this an 18k during the battle phase. Actually, no, because you have to be in Persona Ride, this is a 28k swinger. Why is Lyrical so fun to play? I now remember why I liked playing Bermuda so much. I just like bouncing shit back and forth. I love this thing. I will take it. That's a 4 of right there. Unless they give us something better. Next up, we have Phantom Thief Arisen Phantom Mode. 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. Auto Vanna Rear when it attacks. Counter Blast 1 and put all of your trigger units on your rear into Soul. And for each card put into the battle, it gets plus 10. And then Auto Rear when an attack hits. Counter Charge 1. Okay, so you can send your triggers to Soul. Now, I do not remember anything from the time span of I've been doing the releases for Monster Strike, but if I'm correct, this is the only card that involves triggers on rear, and granted, I have seen some people when they test play, they'll just call down triggers, but why? I mean, yeah, that's a really big 10k swing, but I don't think you willingly call down triggers for one card. I mean, normally when I see people call down triggers, it's a last resort. I mean, this is a last resort card, I guess, so fair enough. 3 of? 2 of? I'm debating on how good this thing actually is. Next up, we have Long-Awaited Wish Lady Sun. Grade 2, intercept, 5k shield, 10k base, nice arrow. I already have it as a favorite in my book because it has one of my favorite weapons in all time. Auto Rear, when this unit is boosted, if it is attacking a Vanguard, Counter Blast 2, choose 2 of your opponent's front row rear guards to retire them. Okay, so fuck the Vermilion cards because this thing can just wipe out the front row rear guards. Immediately, 2 of them die, and then this thing just attacks the Vanguard. Great. This is just... I like the cards for them, and I just like all their... Okay, arts are debatable on that point, but... their abilities feel so weird to me. I don't know why, even though they're all like standard abilities, just in a different way. I feel like the fact of you murdering 2 front row rear guards for just a counter blast of 2 is kind of too good in my opinion. I don't know why. Just 4 of, 3 of, I don't fucking care anymore. Next up we have Guides of Souls, Tene Mosei. AK base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost. Act rear, Soul Blast 2 until end of turn, it gets plus 5. So 13k base, you can just spam this as much as you want. I wouldn't suggest doing that, but it's an okay card. 13k. That's all I can say about it. It's no special thing about it, but it's not the worst thing either. Next up, we have the backup grade 3 for the trial deck, and Energetic Girl Calfi, 10k base, grade 3, Twin Giant Persona Ride. Auto when placed on rear, it gets plus 10 for the turn. Okay, so just the grade 2 from before, but with no counterblast cost. And it's a 10k base, which balances it out, so it's a 20k base, and when you're doing the bounce and attack thing, it's a 30k base. God, I love Lyrical Monasterio. God, this deck seems really fun, and I can't wait to abuse this. I need to do test plays now, but either way, Calfi seems like a really good card. Next up, we have a... Let me just do this again. I haven't done this in a while since the elephant thing, and if you remember what the elephant thing is, you know what's going to happen. Yes! I would have gone longer, but my throat would actually kill me, considering my throat's dying right now. Anyways, we have another set order for a deck that isn't Bracket. Yes! Thank you, God! I have been waiting for this moment for the longest goddamn time. I do not care if it's from Lyrica. I just wanted another set order for someone, and thank God they delivered. And it's really cool, too, because earlier, before the day actually this was released, I was thinking of, what if the whale that they're being carried on was a card itself? And we got one. I'll take it. World Tour Special Live Show, Grade 3 order for the trial deck. Thank you, God. I cannot wait for my birthday this year. Set order after set order is played, put it into your order zone. Act order zone. Once per turn, counterblast 2. Choose one of your vanguards, and until end of turn, it gets continuous van. All of your rear guards get plus 5. So, pretty much, this thing just makes your rear guards better. That's what it does. It's really good. Your main vanguard doesn't use up counterblast, and you can just pump up to your rear guards, bounce them to hand, call them right back. They get more power because you're probably in Persona Ride. You swing, and then they just take a bunch of damage. I love this order. I really do. It is one of my favorite cards of all time now, and I'm going to pick up this trial deck the second it comes out. Thank you, Bushy. Also, it does go away if you ride a different Vanguard, but I don't care. Literally, the only important thing that matters to me right now is that we got another set order, and it looks really fucking cool. Next up, we have Reliable Top Class Student, Arisu. 7k base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost. Continuous guard circle. If you have 3 or more open rear guard circles, it gets plus 10k shield. Okay, so it fits in with the bouncing theme where it can get extra shield out of it, making it another trigger unit. I really like the way Lyrical Monasterio is going with just the trial deck. I like this. It's going to be very fun playing, and I'm going to be the scourge of hate towards all of my friends. Next up, we have Spy of 1,000 Faces, Nyarlathotep. 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept, auto rear when this unit is boosted, Soul Blast 2, and it gets plus 10 for the battle. So, 20k swinger. Okay, it's better than the 5k thing from earlier, so I'll take this one. I say like a 2 of or a 3 of. Next up, we have A Man on the Edge of the World, Toyotomi Hideyoshi. I cannot remember for the life of me of where I heard that name before. I'm starting to flashback to Inazuma 11 Chrono Storms, where they were just doing a bunch of time jumping, and I remember someone by the similar name of Hideyoshi Toyotomi. I'm not so sure. I said that wrong the first time. But if it is the same person, then cool. But I never cared for this person. I like his art here. I just never cared for that person in general. 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. Auto rear when it is boosted. Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 2. Draw a card and it gets plus 5 for the battle. So 15k swinger. It is, well, plus a boost. So presumably it's a 23k swinger. So okay. I'll give it that. I'm only liking this card because of my connection with it from Chrono Stones, and that's pretty much it. Next up, we have Confession of Their True Soul, Gothe. Grade 2, intercept, 5k shield, grade 10k power. Auto van rear when an attack hits a vanguard. If the number of cards your damage zone is 3 or more, choose one of your opponent's vanguards and it loses 5k for the turn. More minusing. Okay, I'm starting to question where Monster Strike is going with this. I mean, yeah, they're getting a bunch of different decks all at the same time, but why? So many cards. There are minus ones, there are kill the rear guards ones, there are just the over triggers, which are a thing. I'm not even sure where Monster Strike is going anymore, but it seems like an interesting bit of chaos that I might get involved into at some point. Either way, nice card 4 of. Next up, we have Phantom Shinobi, Sarutobi Sasuke. 6k base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost. Auto rear, when this unit boosts, Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets +5 for the battle, and at the end of the battle, return it to the hand. Okay, so nice little booster. It's an 11k, not that bad, and it can bounce itself. I'll take it. 3 of. Next up, we have Thief of the Country's Castle, Nezumi Kozo. 6k base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost. Auto rear, when an attack boosted by this unit hits a Vanguard, draw 2, discard 2. Okay. Interesting, the draw 2 and discard 2. Monster Strike, the monster box, does kind of force you to slim down your deck a bit, so that draw 2 is kind of weird, but I will take it because it's kind of for free, so okay. And it's also, actually, no, you're forced to use this if it does hit, so that's a questionable ability, but I'll take it, I guess. That's a 3 of or 2 of. Next up, we have Beautiful Wife of the Supreme God, Hera. 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 intercept. Auto van when it attacks. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, if you have 3 or more units, all of your front row rear guards get +5 for the turn. Really nice, and if it... Never mind, I was going to say if it restands itself, that would have another effect on it, but that's still really good. I'll take it. And I get 3 of. Next up, Innocent Princess Rapunzel. 8k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. Auto van rear when it's boosted. Counterblast 1 and it gets +10 for the battle. So 20k swinger. Fair enough. I give this a 3 of, and then I remember that this is a Vanguard restrictive skill, so never mind, this is a 1 of, because you probably just put in your ride deck. And next up, we have Energetic Explosion, Justin. 6k base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost. Auto during your turn, when it's discarded from your hand, Soul Blast 1, call to an open rear guard. Great, so the grade 1 of the ride line can get you a freebie unit back from your discard. Then the grade 2 can bounce that unit, and what you can do, you can also discard this during your grade 2 or grade 3 turn, and then get another unit out of it. We are just making really good cards for Lyrical Monasterio. I'm not complaining. I love this about them. Thank you, Bushy. You're making one of my favorite decks better. Good. I say a 3 of. And finally, we're on to today's main reveals. First up, we've got Monochromic Personality, Alestiel, 5k power, 5k shield, grade 0 boost, 6k base. I probably said the name of it wrong, but that's fine. Auto when wrote upon if you went second, draw a card, standard ability. I just like this card. I like the angel wings and all that. Next up, we have Indecisive Sky, Alestiel, 8k base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost. Auto when placed on ban, bind the top card of your deck. And now we have the abilities of White Wings and Black Wings. They activate depending on what grade is, or depending on what like type of even or odd numbers in your bind, basically. White Wings, continuous van. When you would ride from your ride deck, you may Soul Blast 1 instead of choose a card from your hand and discard it. So, pretty much, it's exactly what it sounds like. For your ride deck costs either Soul Blast 1 or discard 1, which is really nice to have. And then Black Wings. By the way, both of the wing skills are normally continuous. Continuous van, Black Wings. All of your opponent's grade 1 or less rear guards cannot attack this unit. Okay, so if you're going first and they just try to rush you, they're going to fail if you have the Black Wings active. So, really nice. And then White Wings is activated when your bind zone only has odd grades, and Black Wings is when it only has even grades, which by that meaning, if you have one of each, I'm pretty sure that means it doesn't go off, which is kind of bad, and grade zeros are even in this case. So that's a very interesting skill, and I will take it, I guess. I mean, it's restricted to Vanguard skill only, so there's no reason to run it outside of the ride deck, like the other cards had rear guard skills. There's no reason to put this outside of the ride deck, so 1 of, I guess. Next up, Shining As is Alestiel. 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. Auto when placed on van, choose a card from your bind zone and put it at the bottom. If you put a card, bind the top card of your deck face up. So, swapping out the bind for a new wing ability, okay. White Wings, act van, once per turn. Counterblast 1 and this unit gets +1 crit for the turn. Okay then. Black Wings, continuous van. During the battle that attacked, your opponent cannot call trigger units from hand. Same thing as last time. So, I kind of like the White Wings ability more. It's kind of like the thing from Matilda from Great Nature, where when it was placed, you mill 1, either it gets like a crit or something, or your opponent has to guard with 2 or more. I like how I like the crit ability more than I like the other ability. That's kind of the case here. I like the counterblast 1 get a crit more than I like the other one, so I'm hoping that I always use White Wings with this, but I still like it regardless. Once more, it's only useful in the right deck, so 1 of, basically, for the right deck. And our last grade 3, the grade 3 of the ride line, Archangel of Twin Wings, Alestiel. Grade 3, Twin Drive, Persona Ride, 13k base, Auto Van. At the beginning of your main phase, you may choose a card from your bind zone and put it into your hand, and put a card from your hand. If you put a card, bind the top card of your deck face up. So, pretty much, you can kind of just recycle the cards you use, and well, not necessarily recycle. You can just get the cards from your binds that you use. So if you bind a PG, you bind an Overtrigger, you bind something of great importance, it comes back to your hand, so you get the extra shield, extra rushing power, etc. And then you bind the top card of your deck. I really like that, and I like especially because it's all their abilities are kind of reliant on luck to an extent, where you don't know what the top card of your deck is, and I'm pretty sure they're going to give us a stacker for it eventually, but for now, you don't know what the top card of your deck is, so it's always going to be really fun figuring out what's going to come next, and I really like that ability, and I really like stupid effects that kind of rely on luck, because they always seem fun when it happens. So its White Wing / Black Wing ability is White Wings Continuous Van. During your turn, it gets +5 and a crit. So an 18k base with double critical without Persona Ride. Okay, very interesting thing and an immediate kind of like guard fodder. And then Black Wings Continuous Van. During your turn, all of your opponent's units lose 5k. Now, this one I can go either one with. I like the Black Wing ability much more because it minuses the entirety of their board. So if for some reason they give us a field attacker, then I'm immediately going to shove it into this deck unless that card is restricted to Vanguard, which is going to suck. But yeah, this is a very interesting ability. I like the Black Wing skill more. I still like the White Wing skill as well. I just like the Black Wing skill a lot more. So I would take this. I mean, the only way you can actually configure your deck around this is put in more even cards than odd, but would you really go in the effort of, like, making it more Grade 2 and Grade 0 oriented comparative to Grade 1 and Grade 3 just to make a point with your Black and White Wing abilities? I mean, personally, I wouldn't, but you do you. Either way, I like this deck. It seems very interesting to play with. I'll give it a thumbs up. And then we have our last two cards for today, which are both from the Shaman series. Legendary Samurai Maru, probably said that wrong. 8k base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost, continuous rear during your turn. If you have a Vanguard with Yo Shiraka in its card name, this unit gets plus 5k power, and if that Vanguard is an Oversoul, it gets plus 1 crit. So, a 13k swinger with 2 crit. Interesting. That's fine. Now, what is Oversoul, you may ask? This is Oversoul. 13k base, grade 3, 200 Persona Ride, challenging the battle together, Yo Asharaku. Oversoul, act, Van, once per turn. Put a rear guard with Ane Damaru in its card name into your soul. Draw a card until end of turn. It gets the ability. Continuous Van, all of your firmware units get plus 5 for the turn. So it's an 18k base, and whatever else is there, it also gets the power. So this relies on this to be on the field for its ability to go off and vice versa. And then Auto Van, when it attacks, if your damage zone has 4 or more cards, counterblast 1, and it gets plus 1 crit for the battle. Okay, interesting. I'm disappointed in this. I don't even know what the fuck Shaman King is. I mean, I got a bunch of YouTube notifications about it a few days ago, but I never cared for it. And when I saw the words Oversoul, I was thinking that it's like the new mechanic for the Overdressed Trial deck. Not the Overdressed Trial deck, sorry. A new mechanic for the secondary Dragon Empire Trial deck, and I was getting really excited. Then I realized it was a Shaman King card, and I just kind of got disappointed. But I'll still give it that. It's an interesting card nonetheless. And that was this week's reveals. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, donate to the Patreon, join the Discord, follow the Twitch, and go check out there. And I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to stand up your Vanguards.